Hey everyone, welcome back to another gameplay commentary. In this one, we're going to be going over an Ares game that I had. So just to kind of start off with, I do ward these two little choke points whenever I get, say, Sentinels and Thebes or T1 Thebes, 5 HP pots, because I have about 100 gold left over. So it allows me to get two wards, 50 gold each, and I'll ward up those two choke points just to stop the enemy jungler, or just so like we're aware and we can, situate as we want to. So here we're just going to go ahead and clear how we normally do, right? Like your ADC pulls the green, you pull the purple. You want to kill the green buff first. ADC didn't hit it there, unfortunately, but typically you and the ADC want to kill the green buff first as you're grouping them, because the green buff is going to heal up the other buffs and make them more tanky. So it's more efficient to just clear out the green first and then go for the purple. When we get to lane, though, just a simple clear. We should get pressure here. Ares is very good into Atlas. Ares himself gets a lot of pressure. We had some sick chains there, but Ares himself gets a lot of pressure in general, and so does On Her. So we have a super high pressure dual lane, so we should just be naturally getting pressure out, clearing them, and so on and so forth. One thing to note is this is also a really, really good Ares game. They have Ardeo, they have Atlas, and they have Uller. All three of those characters, and they have Rama, but the first three characters that I mentioned are really, really good, or really bad into Ares, because Ares can just ult them, right? They need beads, they don't have CC immune ults, so Ares can just ult them, and he also chains them and like cripples their dashes out, so they can't rely off escapes nearly as much as they want to. So this is going to be a really, really, really good Ares game. And we're against some like really good players too, like Sam for Soccer is on the Atlas. We got some really good players in here. This is Tuba on the On Her, this is Smurf, so this is going to be a good game. But here, we stepped up a little bit too far, unfortunately. And On Her got poked out. Not the most ideal, but it's fine. It happens. One thing I like to tell people too. Oh, well, before I get into that, we have a Cleo gank here, and we go for the Atlas. So one thing important to note is that typically, not every gank, but typically on ganks, you want to go for the enemy support, because the enemy ADC is going to have beads, and when they have beads, it's a lot harder to kill them and lock them down, especially into like a counter matchup such as Ares and the Atlas. It's much easier. As long as I get the chain onto the Atlas, we can just kill him. So that way we go for the Atlas there every single time. And sometimes if you want to be, on point with your jungler, just make sure you tell them, like, as you see them ganking, say like, look, go on the Atlas, just so you guys are on the same point with each other. But going back to what I was saying earlier, one of Ares' best spikes, in my opinion, in laning phase, that is level 3. Because at level 3, as you can see, I have 2 points into my chains instead of getting my 2. And the reason for that is because your chains, honestly, level 1 don't really feel like they do that much damage. They just don't. They do about, I think, like 20 per tick, right? Pre-mitigation. But when you upgrade them to level 2, they do about like 40 per tick, which is literally double the damage that they're doing level 1. So it's like a really, really, really big thing to be able to get off. So that's why almost every single time I'll never get my 2. The only time I'll ever really get my 2 is if either I mess up, like by accident, just misclick, or we're in the middle of combat, we're losing, we're getting gone on, I just hit level 3, I might get my 2 for those extra prots to see if we can live. That kind of jazz. But for the most part, 2 points into the chains, level 3, start off with your flames, and like you're good to go. And I would always max chains first on him, just because chains are his best ability, and they also do the most damage. Another reason why Ares is also a good matchup in the Atlas, as I was explaining the chains earlier, Atlas tried to grab me, and I 3'd the grab. And you might see that at other points in this game too, but I 3'd the grab, and he can't pull me, and it's because I'm knockup immune. So because I'm knockup immune, he can't even like hit me with his best ability. So that's another reason why Ares is really good in Atlas. And of course, we're going to go ahead and get an ult onto the Atlas now that things have calmed down. They spaced out, get a really nice chain onto the Atlas, really good chain onto the Rama, and then we try to chain the Atlas again. So what's important to note here is that Atlas is always going to be our prio target there. He is going to be the one that we kill, because Rama can ult himself. Again, he has beads, all that kind of jazz. But I chained the Rama to put a little bit of pressure onto him, and also to prevent him from like being able to dash around and be mobile and just be a little bit slow. Mostly for the pressure though, right? Like if we're going onto the Atlas, that means that their ADC is able to free cast, which in this case it's fine, but you want to put a little bit of pressure onto the ADC as well, so they don't feel like they can just do whatever the hell they want to. And then here, we end up doing shield buff. So sometimes you can just get a little bit too greedy. I think I got a little bit too greedy right here. Unfortunately, Ken's was able to kill our Cleo, and I got greedy because I stayed on the shield buff. And as you'll see here in a second, I end up dying, unfortunately, to Atlas come back around off respawn and pulling me and killing me out. So, greed kills. It happens. It is what it is. We call that a fastback where I'm from. I don't know what you guys call it. You guys might call it an int. I call it a fastback. But we ended up getting our Thebes, so that's good to go. So out of base, we just want to go back to left. I see a lot of supports just try to rotate to mid lane, like off their first death, or like when they get Thebes, whatever the case, at 5 minutes. It's a very early rotation. I only recommend that you rotate that early if you and your ADC aren't vibing. If you've already died multiple times, you guys are just in like the biggest losing matchup ever, then sure. But like, don't feel the need to have to rotate just because the enemy support rotates. If the enemy support's rotating, that probably typically means that A, they don't know how to play support, or B, they're in a super losing matchup and they need to rotate, get the hell out of there, and try to make some other play on the map or try to make some work on the map. So you don't want to follow it, right? You want to do your own thing. You want to be proactive. Here's a really good point too. I bought 2 wards out of base and I came back over and I warded up both their back camps. This is gonna be really good because even if I don't see their back camps or don't know when they're up, we'll get timers on the next back camp. So warding their back camps is huge. Again, there you see me muting the Atlas bull with my flames. But warding up the back camps is really, really big, just so you guys get timers, and it'll also allow your jungler. We got a nice little steal right there, but it'll also help to allow your jungler to come over because they know that there's going to be farm up over there whenever the camps are up. We get a super nice ult here, and unfortunately we just took a little bit too much damage, and we ended up dying. Our positioning there was a little iffy, but you know, at the same time, Marty gets a really, really nice flank over here, and Tuba and Marty end up just cleaning everybody up. So it ended up working out in the end. We probably overstayed a little bit. I kind of like to do that kind of stuff to be annoying, but that's like one of the things about playing a character like Ares. You're immobile, right? So because you're immobile, you can get gone on much, much easier. And so you just have to be, you know, it's a risk assessment, right? You have to be a little bit more careful. Like if I would say a Fafnir right there, I never die because Fafnir is way too safe. He has a leap, he has extra prots, all that kind of jazz. So you just got to kind of keep that in mind, whoever you're playing as. But here, so we know their camps are down, and again, good news is we have their timers because we have their wards there. My mid laner's on a mid lane, so I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and intercept this wave a little bit. Typically, I would hold a wave like this. Do I end up holding it? Probably not. It's always good to hold a wave for your allies. Like, a wave is huge. So just kind of like run around in circles, but I kind of like cleared the fronts because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, you definitely want to hold a wave. And we can see Alice is still in left, and that's, you know, completely fine. Now that we have like a lot of pressure, I'm over here. We could probably do Fire Giant, but unfortunately, on her gets ganked. Here, I think is a bad rotation by me. Sorry, not Fire Giant, BDK. Here, I think is a bad rotation by me. I should actually be proactively going to the BDK right now instead of just going back to left lane. I mean, my on her just died, so there's nothing that's, you know, I can do in left lane. The best thing I can do is hold wave, which is not bad, right? It's still like something. But yeah, no, like I probably just want to go to BDK right there. I think that's the correct play. But we do intercept this wave, which is good. So it's not all bad. We're still doing something. We're going to hold it. Again, jumping around in circles, making sure the melee minions can't hit you. Only the archers can. And we're just kind of holding it for our on her. So it's almost like as if on her didn't die. Now, of course, they got that XP. But the big thing about killing people in the early game is wave denial, right? It's camp denial. So whenever you do that, like in the early parts of the game, people aren't worth that much XP or gold. It's really, really about the wave. Or just like their camps, like any farm on the map. So whenever you kill somebody, the big thing is you're denying them farm. That's the really, really big thing. And you're getting a little bit of farm from them. But because I was able to hold wave right there, he was able to get a lot of that farm back that he otherwise would have missed. So like I said, it wasn't all bad. I do think BDK was the best play there, but it's still fine too. But I am back in dual lane again. It's 9 minutes in the game. Completely fine to be here. I see way too many supports rotate out and never come back to dual lane, and it ends up screwing over their ADCs. And then they say ADC gap when their ADC is getting camped out. Just not at all the case. Never the case. I played that bad. I should probably just try to chain the Atlas there, and that chain also would have got the shield buff. So that was on me as well. But we're just in lane right now. Again, we should just have pressure always. I think I screwed this part up too, actually. We end up getting the Atlas, though. We're good. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember this. Yeah. This is just the Juke King right here, baby. That's all this is. That's all this is. Nah. We played that perfectly. Easy peasy. We walked to the Rama, so we missed his shots. One thing I want to say as well is that whenever I'm playing Ares, I've experimented with a lot of builds on a lot of supports. Ares obviously one of them. I've gone into like Gem of ISO. Second, I've gone into like Binding second. One of the things I really like going into second as Ares is Pridwin. And the reason why, or Relic Dagger, some form of cooldown. And the reason why is the cooldown. See, the thing about Ares is that his change just feels so good if you have a lot of cooldown, because they, like, regardless of if you hit the first chain or not, it goes on cooldown immediately. So if you're like max cooldown or close to max cooldown, after you've hit all the chains, you'll get the next round of chains up essentially. Like the cooldown will be up in like 2 seconds, which is huge, 2-3 seconds. So that's why I like going cooldown Ares. You just get the chains back up really quickly, and overall it's a super good time. So I highly recommend it. You could always do like Binding second, that's fine. Just for me, at least, like out of personal preference, I've always just enjoyed going the Pridwin second, just to get them up really fast. Here we get a nice little flank onto the Pele. Or anything yet. Over here chain the Ardio, which is really good. But this was kind of a misplay by me. I should have actually ulted the Ardio, so my Marty could have got his back off rather than just chaining her. So that's where my misplay came in. But we ended up killing her, which is really good. But I think the Atlas ends up getting the Marty. So overall, you know, it wasn't like the worst trade in the world, but again, the correct play there would have been to ult the Ardio and then like chain her afterwards, or chain then alter. Pretty much just prevent her from getting over to my Marty as he's recalling, as he's backing. So that's just always the best play there. Looks like Arthur stole my little buff that I had. Oh, we ended up catching Sam with that chain. That was huge. Do we? Oh yeah, we do end up getting him here. That's big. Nice. Silly Sam walking back up into an Ares. Here I should probably leave at this point. Not really split with them. Soul laners hate it when you split with them. They hate it more than like any other role. And it actually kind of screws them over the most, I think. So, but we're going to back at a Pridwin. And we're actually already level 12. This is really huge, guys, by the way. If you're level 12 at 12 minutes as a support, like this is typically unheard of. So we actually don't end up going Blink. Typically, I think Blink is fine here. Like, but Blink is really good here. It's not just fine, it's actually really good here. I think the reason why I opted in for the Sprout instead of the Blink is because they have a lot of slows. They have an Atlas, and I actually didn't quite mean to get Slow Curse at first. Like, Slow Curse isn't the worst here, but, you know, it's kind of like rough in Atlas since he has his 3 and can slow immune anyways. But still good into the Pele, so I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get a Sprint. Ares is immobile anyways. And with Sprint, a lot of people don't realize that you can still engage pretty well with Sprint. I got Sprout early, so I can just sprint root people, and then I can just look for an ult right afterwards. So it's not bad at all. It's like not the worst. And we actually get a Sprout right there, and it kind of screws him over. So we ended up getting both those kills. Had a really good ult, just really good engage in general. And that just opens us up to do Gold Fury. My Honor has already taken their T1 as well. So we just have a lot of pressure on this side of the map. So we're up about 4K right now. Easy, or 5K I should say. So easy Gold Fury. And we've also got mid lane down too. So, I mean, we're at the stage in the game where, I mean, it's ranked, so you can throw games. But if you're this high at this stage in the game, then like you should just never lose unless, you know, you just throw. And that's what happens in ranked. So. I want to go for the purple here. My Honor opts in to go for the wave. It's fine, it is what it is, but I'd rather just invade their buffs. I'm a buff invader. Nobody's purple is safe around D-board. But I think I overstayed. I actually forget how this fight plays out. Do I die here? Oh yeah, I get the Pridwin proc. I forgot about this. Yeah. Yep. I actually kind of forgot I had Pridwin. I do end up dying, but I kind of forgot I had Pridwin there. But let's go ahead and skip through this. And that's the beauty of Avad. See, look, we just skipped through that death. We don't have to look at it. That's perfect. Here, we're actually going to go for a Gem of ISO. That's what this T2 item is. This builds into either Ethereal Staff or Gem of ISO. We like Gem of ISO on Ares. Gem of ISO Ares Chains is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I've been preaching this for a while. People have started copying me on it. The thing about Ares Chains is that they slow by about 15%. It's not the most, right? 15%, like, you feel it a little bit, but, like, not too much. Gem of ISO is going to be another, I believe it's 35%. or 30%, something around there. Let's just call it 35. So you're going to be slowing people by... Oh, that was a really nice pillar and a super nice shin to stop his dash. We ended up getting him there. But you're going to be able to... I think it's 30, actually. But you're going to be able to slow people by about 45%, which is crazy on your chains. And it reapplies because of the Gem of ISO buff. So Gem of ISO applies for 2.5 seconds, and it reapplies every 2.5 seconds, even on the same exact ability. Super nice Sprout there. That also helps us hit our chains too if people are moving around. That's another reason why I like Sprout on Ares. Obviously, don't always have to go it. I don't always go it, but it's just an all-around really, really good relic. Again, a lot of people think that like they need Blink to engage, and this would have been a really good Blink game, but like you can also engage with Sprint just because of the root portion of it. You can set people up by rooting them for a second before anything happens. That's completely fine. Engage is completely good. But yeah, so I mean, dude, we're in an insanely good slot this game. We have level 15 at 16 minutes. Like, that's wild to think about, you know? So we ended up doing this. I think my Honor ended up porting over. And this is really good. As a side laner, for anybody that's watching this that might also be side laners, like, if you have a lead, you need to rotate with that lead. Like, that's what you need to do. And... Wait, do we... Oh. I thought we lost that for a second. A lot of people get leads, but they don't rotate with them. You know, I've always seen people say like, oh man, I was dominating my lane. Like, how do we lose? Like, team diff and all that kind of stuff. But like, super good chain onto this Ardio, by the way. Have to mention that, of course. And a really good pillar by my Honor. Oh my goodness, he's just absolutely going ham. But a lot of people say like, that they like are owning lane and they're getting team diff or whatever if they lose, but like they don't rotate with that lead at all. And that's like one of the big issues. That's one of the big problems. You have to, if you have a lead, rotate with it. Be proactive on the map. And so that's what my Hunter was able to do. We ended up getting Fire Giant. We're building our lead even stronger. We do lose left T1, but it's fine. Here I think we're just kind of trolling a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. We're so far ahead. That is one scary thing about getting far ahead in ranked, I will say. I lose a lot of games. I don't know why I sprouted there, but I lose a lot of games in ranked when I'm too far ahead because everybody starts trolling and they think that we won. And you know, late game, obviously, when you start dying, the cooldowns are longer for deaths and all that kind of stuff. So it is what it is. But here we have 3k gold. We're kind of just walking up, see if we can get this right. Phoenix. I do want to back here soon and get Gem of Ice. I mean, we've got 3k gold. So we want to get Gem of ISO and potentially get our starter if we can do it. I'm also kind of weak here. God, do I end up getting out here? Nah, we got Rama sniped. Like I said, fast back to base. It happens. That's where some of the troll happens, you know? You know, luckily we're so far up that it's fine. We'd have to troll a couple times for that to happen, but like with Smite, there's a lot of comeback mechanics in the game. And we are back. Yeah, there's just like a lot of comeback mechanics in the game that a lot of people don't realize. See, look, like we lost our, I think we had our T1 up, so we lost our T1 and our T2 here. Like that was an insane push by them, and they got shutdowns too. But I mean, we'll walk up here, get an ult off, and I got a really good Sprout onto the Atlas. The Sprout's also really good in the Atlas for that reason as well. Like if he's running away, you can just Sprout him, and he's rooted. Look how slow he is, man, on these chains. Like, this is just insane. Like, Gem of ISO Ares is just such the way to go. Like, this is my build almost every single game. Then my last two items, I'll kind of switch it up here and there. But, like, Sentinels for the auras and prots. Thebes also for the auras and prots. And, obviously, like, those are going to stack up with your 2. So you're just giving your allies a lot of defense that are around you. We're going to have... Pridwin for obviously the cooldown, Gem of ISO for the extra damage and lockdown. Also, too, I've mentioned in the past that Ares isn't, you know, nearly as good into characters that don't have escapes, mainly because if a character doesn't have an escape, say for example Ymir, they have a different slotted ability there that's going to help them in combat, right? They don't have an escape there, they're going to have a different slotted ability there. And oftentimes that can kind of screw over Ares. So like Ares is really good into characters that have some form of mobility because he's taken away an entire third of their main kit or fourth of their overall kit. But then when you get Gem of ISO though, it's actually still really, really good into characters that don't have the mobility, right? It's because you just have extra lockdown. So it's just really, really good in general. My Marty's kind of... I actually think Marty mid is pretty good right now. He's been kind of farming this game. I've seen a lot of my Marty's farm recently in mid lane. I think if you can do it, it's actually like pretty solid. Nice little shit. Look how slow this Atlas is. And then we cancel chain to 3 so we don't get knocked up. That's a very important combo when playing to somebody like Atlas. Very, very important combo. We get a huge ult here. No, we don't. I lied. We don't get a huge ult at all. But we did burn 2 beads. Get a nice sprint onto the RDO. Want to try to avoid all the splash damage and CC. These guys are actually like doing a lot of damage, but they're just really far behind. If these guys like were up ahead more, they would have killed like multiple of us right there. I guess they did kill multiple of us, but it would have been even better for them. I don't think there's ever a world in which I make it out of here. Yeah, that's just kind of us trolling again a little bit, I think. Maybe engaging onto the RDO was a little bit too much, but, you know. But let's skip through this, and we're back. Cool. Nothing really happened. Actually, well, we killed Sam. I think that they tried to do some extra stuff, and it ended up just not working out for them, so... Sam died there. Ken's died there on the Pele as well, so Alice, Pele are both dead. And we can actually just go ahead and set up and do FG. Easy peasy. So that's where they're trolling, trying to go for kills over objectives, but nothing too crazy going on here. I am going to go Relic Dagger next. Relic Dagger for the extra cooldown. It can get a little iffy. Actually, I'll say it in a second. Let's see if anything crazy happens here. Yeah, get a nice sprue, but Ardio got a huge stun on me. If Ardio didn't get a big stun on me, I end up dying again. I think my team kills here though. If Ardio didn't get a stun on me, I get a triple. See, that's where Blink could have came in handy, but it would have got canceled by FG anyways. But I could have got like a triple ult there. But yeah, it's a little weird kind of going into Relic Dagger with Gem of Isoka, because that's 2 items that are not giving you any form of, you know, protections. But this guy is healing a shit ton. Oh my goodness, what was that healing? Oh my goodness. You know, you guys are going to want to see the Marty build after this game. Don't worry, I'll have the stats up afterwards, because that was crazy. Yeah, like overall, it can feel a little weird with Gemma ISO and Relic Dagger, but if you get the upgraded Relic Dagger version, Eldritch Dagger, which is the right glyph, you know, the blue glyph, it's a blue-purplish glyph, whatever it is, it does give you like 15% of your protections when you use a relic, so you are actually getting prots. You are actually getting stuff, but overall, that's going to be the game. I didn't skip through that death because, you know, a lot was going on, but that's going to be the game. Pretty easy game. We weren't really challenged at all. Again, this was a really good Ares game. I just kind of wanted to showcase, like, if you get a good Ares game, pick Ares. Like, he will win you the game. This character will win you the game. But yeah, overall, that's a really solid build I would go at. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm happy to keep doing this for you guys. If you guys do like this kind of commentary gameplay stuff, I just want to show you guys like what I'm thinking, you know, what's going through my head with some of this stuff, including builds and stuff like that. I feel like it's a really good way to sort of like get knowledge and all that kind of jazz across while, like, you know, watching some fun gameplay as well. So this is a GrandMaster ranked lobby, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and until the next video, see ya.